Our presentation is entitled Beyond Conventional Digital Approaches in the Humanities, Corpus Linguistics for Language-Related University Disciplines, and it was co-authored by my colleague Madrina Chitez from the Department of Modern Languages and Literatures. The paper is divided into 5 sections, consisting of several introductory remarks regarding the relevance of digital approaches in higher education institutions, moving forward to the field of digital humanities, where we have chosen corpus linguistics as foundation for our research methods and also initiated a digital humanities center called CODUS. We will talk about how we build corpus-related expertise through a new type of internship within the faculty, then give some examples of pedagogical interventions where we used corpus linguistics as methodology for conventional courses, stating in the conclusions the importance and impact of building and expanding a digital humanities center, especially in the present global context. Before we move on to the data and case studies motivating our paper, we'd like to introduce you to a few generic facts about digitalization, which we believe best summarize current developments. Digital approaches in the humanities are gaining more and more popularity and actually becoming the reality, not only the trend nowadays. Digitalization is also an important strategy integrated in the Bologna process. However, there is still a struggle in Romanian higher education institutions to overcome the traditional point of view and engage in new approaches, doubled by the instructors' reluctance in totally transforming their curricula in order to develop students' digital intensive research skills. Since March 2020, all the educational activities were moved online within our faculty and most of the world, a fact which actually gave our team the opportunity to show the use of digital methods that we were already trying to endorse. As for the aim of this paper or study, we could talk about presenting how a newly founded digital humanities center, namely CODUS, is already reaching its potential with the help of corpus linguistics and digital research methods used in the humanities. All of these applied during students' internship stages and into undergraduate courses for freshmen. These activities led to enhanced students' motivation in research, improved disciplinary competence, but also cross-disciplinary interests. Let's move towards digital humanities, a field that is still emerging in Romania. The idea of building a digital humanities center in Timișoara is not very old, but in order to see the direction that this center should follow, we carried out a survey last year among our contacts from the field of humanities. The survey was called DIGITS, or Digital Humanities Survey. We asked, among other questions, how the respondents relate or understand the field or the concept of digital humanities. They had the most diverse answers, ranging from digital libraries to digital research tools. But a very common answer indicated the complementarity of technology and humanities by facilitating the studies and research in humanities with the help of digital resources and tools. Currently, in Romania, there are 5 universities where digital humanities initiatives have been launched: in Bucharest, Cluj-Napoca, Iași, Sibiu, and from 2019 in Timișoara. We are still trying to build an official national network or alliance of these centers. Let's talk now about CODUS, or the Center for Corpus-Related Digital Approaches to Humanities, a new research center founded in October last year at the West University of Timișoara. It is the second digital humanities center in Romania, but the first and only one which focuses on corpus methodologies. Its main objectives are support for applied humanities research, practical solutions for teaching, learning, or research to group of users as large as possible, software solutions for language teaching, translation tools, digital teaching methods, online resources such as web pages, digital guides, databases, archives, and last but not least, training in digital humanities. In 2019-2020, Chorus initiated a new type of internship aiming to develop research abilities and helping students become more independent scholars, by giving them both the opportunity to learn and practice. The goal of the program also intended to bring an innovative character to the faculty and institution by increasing its visibility and research capacity. At West University of Timișoara, internships are mandatory for most of the students, as practice included in the curriculum. The educational plan states key competences that are to be developed for philology students, such as inter and pluricultural communication, translation competences, computer literacy skills, innovative thinking skills, and so on. However, the vast majority of the students tends to neglect the significance of this activity and chooses internships where repetitive tasks are given, such as text digitization, text editing, or translations, or where certificates of attendance are easily given. In this context, Chorus sought to implement internship stages as a form of creating value within academia and the educational system. Thus, in November 2019, an open call was launched, and by January, it gathered 9 interns from the first and second year of their bachelor studies and 1 volunteer from the third year. All of them studied English as their major or minor, and we organized then 2 workshops for the trainees. The first training, held in February, focused on the fields of digital humanities and corpus linguistics, introducing students to a user guide in annotating and coding texts, since most of them would be involved in processing collected texts. This practical session was essential in accustoming trainees with linguistic data preparation and analysis. The second training, held in March, was based on self-compiled corpora and focused on using Langsbox, dealing with interventions using expert corpora in order to improve their academic writing skills. Trainees were taught to search frequency lists, n-grams, keywords in contexts, to build graph calls, for example. From March until June, students were assigned several tasks under the tutor's supervision. Moreover, each of them chose a topic for an individual research. In this autumn, Chorus already received applications from BA students in history, MA students in German, or even PhD students. Therefore, these new interns will definitely expand the research capacity of the center by testing digital instruments used in these fields. As mentioned before, all the interns and volunteers were asked to carry out an exploratory study. An overview of their research topics allowed us to build several categories, like in this chart. Most of the trainees focused on discourse analysis in media or in popular culture, but also in the political sphere. The cultural or literary perspective was not neglected, but was preferred by students in their second or third year. Whether discussing linguistic features of Billboard's hits, common musical themes, or particularities in the speech of Hollywood actors in interviews, they depicted discourse strategies in gaining popularity. Self-marketing was also central in investigating how beauty influencers pursued and motivate the audience through textual techniques. Trainees proved to be very aware of the language transformations and evolution, examining, for example, teenagers' popular vlogs. Another well-anchored domain was the political one, by scrutinizing political strategies hidden in discourses in both Romanian and American administration, or by giving attention to women's rights and emancipation activist Elizabeth Cady Stanton. One of the papers focused on differences in depicting plague cholera, and coronavirus in poetry. This example also represents a novelty in Romania in analyzing Insta poetry. Another example of an innovative approach in cultural studies was the multimodal analysis of the effects of urban revitalization through a collection of 9 photographs depicting Harlem in the last 80 years. CODUS team's aim is to publish all these research articles in a bilingual academic volume as an example of good practice in both academic writing and going beyond conventional digital approaches in the humanities. Moreover, we are constantly making efforts in incorporating corpus linguistics methodologies in conventional language courses because the center's scope is to enhance the whole community's skills and to replicate these activities as much as possible. CODUS's activities include trainings and workshops for both university teachers and students. For instance, we have had an introductory course for first-year students in 2019 and 2020. We have offered a module on digital tools for academic writing to our colleagues from different departments. Even more practical were 2 workshops delivered to freshmen, a course to Romanian students introducing them to new methods in linguistics in the first semester, and a course in literary studies in the second semester. We discussed there the language of vloggers, or how digital tools can help us find specific topics present in one author's work, or how these topics and views evolve in time. We identified frequent collocations, metaphorical or non-metaphorical contexts in poetry, for example. These examples and this overview of the center's activity allows us to draw several conclusions. Needless to say that founding a digital humanities center enriches the research capacity of both the instructors and students by offering a larger visibility and the opportunity of internationalization. Because CODUS became the house of digital codes for humanists, we invite you in our digital home by checking our webpage. We thank you for your attention, and we thank the organizers for giving us the opportunity to talk about our activities.